hey, there you are. Hey, look, guys, it's still Tuesday here. I got that rear end kind of finished up, and we're going to start another video here, working on some more details on how I'm notching this stuff and whatnot. We're going to open a second Waffle House, start a franchise. Oh, hey, Koo.
Hey.
Koo wandered down here. You remember my neighbor Koo here? Koo, anything new since you've been to the shop?
Well, I'm getting married.
What? Dude. Dude, you ain't never heard of the 3 rings?
No, where are they?
The 3 rings of marriage is the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering, buddy. And the suffering's hard to shake.
Well, you seem to be doing all right.
Oh, I put on a good show. But anyway, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
It'll be good. Be good. So, anyway, Koo's going to hang out with us for a while tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started. But anyway, thanks for joining us again, guys. Huh?
Never mind.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Talk to you in a bit. Oh, hey, there you are. Look, guys, I'm just chilling out. Vroom, vroom. It's what you got to do. It still didn't make any noise on its own. But I did want to let you know there's a little video coming up here showing what do you do when you're working in the shop and you run out of welder lead. We found it kind of fun. Talk to you later. Hey guys, back again here. I get a lot of questions about what it is I actually do for a living. I think the standard response is supposed to be as little as possible. Rim shot. Anyway, but seriously, I spent a lot of time recently working as a vibration analyst. I work with Windrock devices. We're doing real-time mapping of bearing wear and whatnot. But where this ties into what I'm working on here, a lot of guys are probably wondering at this point, why put so much effort? Like, why do all that to a fender? It doesn't matter. Well, in a previous video, I told you about how much unsupported mass we had here. So, if you hit this whole tube flexes because it's an unsupported run. So, one kiss of a tree is going to push right through the body. I mean, that's the tube hitting the fender, and that's just me, you know. And so even out here, you hear that? You can hear the whole rig vibrate off of that. And this is probably overkill, but there is no vibration, you know what I mean? So over time, the vibration, the flex, and the rattle, even the engine vibration can cause welds to fail and whatnot. So you have two means of controlling vibration, and that's stiffness or mass. And obviously for our industry, I'm adding a little bit of mass here. No way around that. But I'm adding a lot of stiffness. So, truck chassis, whatnot, you want that flex. But what we're doing, you really don't want the flex. Eventually you end up ripping body mounts. You do a lot of damage to your equipment. It's not the same load. So this is kind of just wanted to show like why we're putting the effort into this. We are, that speaks for itself. I don't know what else I got to say about it, but that's what we're trying to get rid of, okay? So like I said, I probably would have built this whole rig differently. It's a big challenge for me. I've never worked on somebody else's project before, right? It's my project now because I bought it. But I'm trying to take somebody else's vision and make it my own. And I don't know how to do that other than to do what I know to do. And so I take my background, my experiences, and I work from there. Anyway, thanks, guys. Hey, guys, it's Wednesday. Just getting ready to get started here. Last night, finished up the rear end. All the tube structure from this point back is complete now, so I've got to add multiple braces in here to match the waffle pattern over there. But anyway, plan to get that all knocked out today, and then the bulk of the welding's done at that point, so I'm going to go back to working on the engine. And so this is probably the last video on the tube notching and whatnot. So hopefully it's not too boring. Maybe you picked up something, maybe you didn't. Just bear with me. we're going to keep moving here, and hopefully this thing's making noise by the weekend. That's my goal. So I think we got a trip down to Hershey Park either tomorrow or Friday. That'll put me behind a little bit, but still on track to hopefully get this thing running. Anyway, hope you're having a good week, and talk to you in a bit. Alright guys, as you can see in that last time lapse I started roughing in. I'm going to go ahead and do the hardest part first. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. So what I'm trying to do is come back in here as far as I can. I have to close my angle a bit. My goal is to hit a little bit closer to here. So this was first cut and buff. Like I said, the more you do it, the more you kind of figure out like how steep to take your angles and whatnot. So anyway, I'll massage this out here a little bit, cup this some more, bring it in, and try to hit on this bar, and then we'll come off of here and go into here. So it'll be 2 short runs right here to fill in the back side. I'm going to go ahead and do that first. Like I said, it's the tightest workspace and everything, so get it out of the way while I'm still fresh, and then we'll start carrying it on out. So I'm going to set up and do a little more time lapse. Like I said, in this instance, once I get this angle how I want it, it's just going to rotate down the tube a little bit to hit in here. And then once I have that, where I feel like it'll angle right, I'll go ahead and estimate my marks and start coping this out and get it in. So, anyway, the goal is to make it match that over there. Except somebody threw a big power steering reservoir in here. This is an old buddy of mine out of Louisiana I used to work with and spent a lot of time with. He trained me, old man Donnie. He's not with us anymore, but we went to a truck salvage yard and took this out of a semi. It was a filter housing or some power steering filter housing. But anyway, when I was running full hydro on the old setup, I was having foaming issues and whatnot, so I increased my capacity. And when I started building this one, I didn't like the little one that was on the firewall. So I figured why not? I already have this one. It's got internal baffles and everything already built into it from where we modified it in the past. So I went ahead and mounted it. It's just a simple tab mount. There we go. So not much to it. But it does hold nearly 2 quarts by itself. So anyway, just gives more fluid retention time. I don't look for there to be any steering issues on this rig, just being hydraulic assist and not full hydro or anything. But we never know where tomorrow's going to take us. And I do like full hydro setups, so it could be in the future. Anyway, thanks guys. Alright guys, made a couple adjustments here. Pretty happy with how that's running. I've got it to stop. That's about the limit of where I'm going to be able to get in a weld on the backside. As you can see here, I'm pretty close to where I want it to be, and I've got plenty of clearance here on that filter housing. So I'm pretty happy with where this tube's ending up. So now all I have to do is mark it, start notching that in, and get that to lay down in there. And you come look over here, it's going to be pretty close to the same. So we may have a little bit deeper over here, but that's okay. Should be fine. I think it's probably actually better. Probably should have done a deeper cut on that side. But anyway, not ripping it out now. So we're just going to run with it and make it better as we go. Alright guys. So now then, we kind of got to be accurate here because we're running out of tube length. So I'm gonna grab me a square. Yeah, it's probably not completely square, but it kind of shows me where the edge of that tube actually is. So if I mark here, and I come around on the other side, and mark here, now I know the depth on each side to start my notch. So I should be able to work off of that. What I'll do is I'll cut just in front, like towards the end here. I say in front, front being towards the camera. And I'll take my bandsaw and rip this off just ahead of the paint. And then when I do that, I can buff it back into fit. So anyway, I think it's going to line up pretty good. I like where this is hitting. So I'm going to put it back on time lapse, and we'll get this tube ripped, and then I should be ready to burn it in. Alright guys, I got it in there. I'm inset a little bit, got plenty of room to work on everything in there. This went in pretty good. These deep insets here where you're working tight, I don't know, I struggle with them. They're probably the hardest pieces to put in. But if you look here, and then we look at this side, you can see the angle is off a bit, but I had a lot more real estate over here. So while it's not exactly where I would have liked it, I think it's still going to serve the purpose. And it definitely didn't hurt anything. And these two right here run down to the chassis. So that was all the support for this whole front end is right here. I'm going to tie that in. Come forward, I added this. And then we're going to add one more out here on the end. I'll probably contour that line. I got to work around that big power steering box. So that'll be a bit of a challenge. But anyway, relieved to have that piece in for the day. The rest of this should go quicker and easier. Thank you. Alright guys, so I went over to my scrap bin, grabbed me a little chunk of tube here. This is left over from the salmon mog project actually. So anyway, we're going to lay this right in here, and the goal is to brace all this in. So I'm going to lay this up here. I'm going to do me a rough mark there, and there, and then there. And what I'm doing is marking estimates of where the 4 points of contact are going to be for those notches. So if you wanted, you could measure it with a tape measure, make sure your distances were right. I got plenty of scrap, so I'm going to go for it. I am going to mark the orientation of this one, so I know that that X is going to be facing up at me. That's going to be crucial on this bend, on this cut. And the other thing is our bars are not parallel where we're going in, so I'll have to take note of that as I cut this and shape it. So it's going to run at a little bit of an angle. It's at an angle on all three planes here. So anyway, it'll be a little more interesting. Cut it, but it ain't going to be bad. Anyway, check back with you in a minute. Alright guys, I'm still fighting this here. I've only got one 220 outlet and it's up against this wall. So this new welder has a little bit shorter power cord than what I had before. Thinking about buying an RV shore lead and making a jumper for it, longer cord. But for now, I've routed the cord up through the rig, and I think I've got plenty of reach now, so I should be able to finish what I'm doing here without having to move the rig anymore. So anyway, got that bar in there, coming together on that, and not too far off. Looks pretty good. So anyway, we'll keep working. Thank you. All right, guys, got all the pieces laid in, kind of just hammered in place, braced up. Haven't welded it yet, but we got the driver's side and the passenger side matching now. So with the exception of the bars off the front bumper and up, this is the last of the tube work. There'll be 2 more sticks, and then we're just doing brackets and tabs. So almost through all this. Hard to believe, 10 days ago I hadn't put a single stick of tube on it. So anyway, not bad for doing, 10 days from design to laid out. It's going pretty good. Thank y'all. Alright guys, so listen to the Razorbacks have their way with Kansas. It's been kind of fun, but anyway, we're down here in the shop and well, we got waffles and stereo, buddy. So I'm done with both sides. Everything's burned in, everything's done. Got to add a support on each side. I'm going to come off of down here at the front of the frame up and catch in there. Got to figure that out, but after that, guys, it's down to just brackets and tabs and try to make this thing run. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, I don't think it came out too bad. Nobody will ever see it unless it's rolled over because it's all getting skinned with aluminum, but I believe she'll take a hit at this point. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.